Heya Cryptozens. Tonight's show. Tornado Cash dev jailed for 90 days. U.S. judge okays employee bonuses at Voyager. And Coinbase launches cbEth. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is August 25th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus, and I'll be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex. And together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Alexei Pertsev is a Dutch developer. He worked on the Tornado Cash app. Tornado Cash, famous for being sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury. Well, the Dutch police took Pertsev into custody on suspicion of money laundering. A judge just ordered him to stay in jail for another 90 days. Now, he's been in custody for 15 days already, and then this judge ordered him to be in prison for another 90 on top of that. This is important because Dutch law says that suspected lawbreakers can only be held in pre-trial confinement for 110 days. At that point, charges have to be filed and a hearing must be set. Now, frankly, it's unclear why Pertsev is still being incarcerated. Xenia Malik is Pertsev's wife. She doesn't know either. She said, quote, "It's not clear what arguments they had for not releasing him under house arrest. Lawyers confirmed the additional 90-day holding, but I haven't seen any official documents." This is very scary. Because that means in addition to the 15 days that he was held without bail, that would set him at 105 days of being held, almost to the legal limit. Now, as far as I know, there have been no charges filed. This is despite the fact that the Dutch Fiscal Information and Investigation Service arrested him clear back on August 10th. This is the agency that is responsible for investigating financial crimes. Now, FIOD did put out a report. This report accuses him of facilitating, quote, money laundering through the mixing of cryptocurrencies through the decentralized Ethereum mixing service Tornado Cash. Now, meanwhile, in Amsterdam, protesters gathered to demand Pertsev's release. Quote, "Open source is not a crime." That was the chant that they used to urge the government to do the right thing and let the man go. Matthew Green. We were just talking about him last night. He is a professor at Johns Hopkins. In addition to teaching cryptography, Green also recently re-uploaded the Tornado Cash source code to GitHub. The Microsoft-owned company nuked their Tornado Cash project from their repository and then locked the developers' accounts. So he's been involved in this. He said that he has no idea what Pertsev could have done to deserve arrest. And if you listen to him, it sounds like the police don't know either. At any rate, this arrest has had shockwaves through the crypto and developer communities. Many crypto advocates are concerned that this action could kick off a wave of arrests. Open source developers who have no control over how other people use their code. And then, so it came to pass that a petition was started. This change.org petition demands the release of Pertsev. It's exceeded its goal and gotten over 2,700 signatures. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $1.04 trillion. It's up 0.89% in 24. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin up 0.42%, Ethereum up 2.25%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin up 1.67%. $1.9 million. Voyager lost everyone else's money, and now that's how much money that they want to pay in retention bonuses. This would be to key employees. And a New York bankruptcy court has just given its stamp of approval to do so. Representatives of Voyager filed the motion in the U.S. bankruptcy court on August 2nd. At that time, they were asking for its Key Employee Retention Program, or KERP. Now, according to KERP, this means that $1.9 million in retention bonuses are supposed to go out to 38 people. These are people in the organization that it's claimed to be are critical to keeping the exchange running, for maintaining their ongoing operations. This move did not go unopposed. According to court filings, Voyager's creditors tried to block this from happening. In an August 19th filing, they claimed payments to investors should trump payments to, quote, well-compensated employees. I can see both sides on this one. For example, if Voyager owes you a lot of money, you might be thinking, hey, paying a bunch of bonus money to executives who got us in this predicament might not be the best thing to do. And I get that. If you find yourself in the hole, stop digging. On the other hand, people don't work for free. People planned these retention bonuses in their family's budget. If you break that agreement, why would they continue to work there? I imagine a number of people have flown the coop, so to speak. How do you keep people on board a sinking ship, especially in a bad economy, and jobs in crypto are starting to dry up? People are going to be looking to protect themselves financially speaking. You know, people are already looking for the door, looking for better job prospects. So how do you keep your key employees around when things are bleak? The answer is simple. Money. You pay them to stay on so that their institutional knowledge does not walk out the door with them. Failing to do so could easily cost more than just the bonuses. If you want to recover capital to pay back investors, you're going to need these people on board. And this is 22.5% of their annual salary. If you don't pay it, people will walk, and your knowledge and your insight will go with them. So I get both sides. Apparently, so did the creditors. Because while they still weren't happy, they reached an agreement with Voyager. This agreement meant that the creditors would drop their opposition to CURP on certain conditions. One of these conditions is a series of cost-cutting measures expected to save $4.6 million. Now, if you're wondering who these 38 people are to deserve this bonus, Voyager insists that they're vital to keep the business going. Voyager said that they perform, quote, essential accounting, cash and digital asset management, IT infrastructure, legal and other critical functions for the debtors. However, the creditors were not the only ones opposed to Voyager's bonus program. The U.S. Trustee's Office oversees the administration of bankruptcy courts and private trustees. Well, the U.S. Trustee's Office, as a component of the Department of Justice, they objected because they said that the list of employees to receive payouts may have included, quote, insiders, people who don't really play a role, but they get the bonus regardless. And then beyond that, they said Voyager had not provided enough evidence to justify the bonuses. Ultimately, U.S. Bankruptcy Judge Michael Wiles approved the motion for CURP payouts to begin. He agreed with the Voyager's legal team's assertion that none of the people who would receive the bonuses were appointed by, report to, or sit on the board of directors. They insisted that these are people who do not have managerial control of the company. The global NFT market cap is down 2.44%. Sales volume is down 0.56% in 24 hours. According to CoinMarketCap, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are ABC plus Virtual Exhibition, followed by Bored Apes, Other Deed, Azuki, and Mutant Apes. Now, keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. Coinbase sent out a tweet announcing its new offering, its own liquid stake token. It's called Coinbase Wrapped Staked Ethereum, or cbEth. It's expected to launch before the Ethereum merge in September. Their tweet said, quote, Coinbase will add support for Coinbase Wrapped Staked Ethereum, cbEth, on the Ethereum network. Do not send this asset over other networks or your funds will be lost. And then they created a Twitter thread to explain things. Here are the highlights. cbEth is meant to be a utility token that represents ETH2. Now, ETH2 is somewhat misleading. In this context, Ethereum 2 is Ethereum that's staked through Coinbase. Now, cbEth can be sold off or sent off platform. Ethereum 2, however, is locked up until a future upgrade happens. So you see the point of this, right? This is a way that lets customers sell, transfer, or spend their staked Ethereum. Remember, it's locked up until a future upgrade happens. So that means that cbEth holders will be able to take their tokens off platform to their own self-custodied wallet and then trade them off of Coinbase. Another thing to know is that cbEth is a utility token. It's meant to track the value of Ethereum 2, not Ethereum. This means that the price of cbEth will likely not be in lockstep with the price of Ethereum. Now, what this means is hard to say. On the one hand, cbEth represents 1 cbEth to 1 Ethereum, and then all the accrued staking interest starting from when the conversion rate and the balance were first set up. This was in June of this year. In Coinbase's documentation, they talk about the fact that they're the only source that can mint cbEth. On top of that, if you live in an area where Ethereum staking is available, you're eligible to wrap your staked Ethereum into cbEth. It's not without its risks. There are a lot of obvious threats involved. Coinbase could find that their stake is slashed. If they're using your Ethereum 2 as their stake, then it's possible to find your cbEth is worth less than staked Ethereum. So wrapping your Ethereum into cbEth and then selling your claim to staked Ethereum on Coinbase is your choice. You could lose value if you do so. Additionally, while they know how to wrap Ethereum into cbEth, they don't know how to reliably unwrap it yet. They're supposed to be working on a fix for that. Once that fix is in place, that means that you'll be able to claim your staked Ethereum plus any interest that you're due. Now remember what we're talking about here. This has to do with the Ethereum merge. A lot of money was locked up in the beacon chain in the form of staked Ethereum. Coinbase is one of those players managing a large Ethereum stake on the beacon chain for their customers. Now when you buy it, it costs the same as Ethereum. However, from that point, it starts accruing value. That's the value that's represented by cbEth. Now, people, be aware. You know what's going to happen. The scammers are going to be out in force. They're going to be hawking a fake version of the cbEth. Do your research. If you want to take advantage of this, great. Look up the contract address and make sure you're not dealing with a scumbag scammer. Not financial advice, but always check your contract address. And we're going to call it there for tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. Take care of yourselves, but take care of each other too. We'll see you tomorrow night.